Mr. Moon. Use my phone to take pictures. What's that?
I don't have my camera, you can see all the sends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's serious.
One of these, Jessica, could you take pictures with me?
That is. I can watch it.
I'll send them out.
Okay. If I went to result, what about the? That's something already making some.
You want it for no glass at all?
Yeah, the guy behind the podium.
You wanna be in front here? Both all up here? What do you think?
Well, right there, but fine, you can see up here.
Okay,
Whatever.
all right. Let's turn on face thing, you think?
Yeah, we're gonna see their.
So raise your right hand.
Oh, we gotta get the camera.
We're doing it right now?
We're right there.
Raise your right hand, please. I state your name.
I, Daniel G. Moon,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Kansas,
of the state of Kansas,
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
the duties of council member.
the duties of councilman.
So help me God.
So help me God. This is my good time.
That's yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
Kid, go to work.
Thank you.
He has to sign it first.
Okay. Come on in, come on in.
I think we missed
What'd you say,
it.
Mr.
No, swear again.
Yeah.
You have to sign it, you have to sign it.
Yeah,
It's okay,
okay.
no, come on.
That's over here.
Oh, you need to, want to do it again?
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be-
You want to for family? You want to redo it? Okay, just come on over. All right, give it. Come on in.
You want to redo it?
No, have to.
That's tough.
We're gonna, or else we're gonna act it out again.
Oh, okay.
Man, you wanna do it again? Here, you get the,
No.
come on up. That's perfect.
I got everybody. Family.
Do it again. What you've already shown, we just gonna.
Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Daniel G. Moon,
Solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of
of
Kansas,
the state of Kansas,
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
the duties of councilman.
the duties of councilman.
So help me God.
So let me go.
Thank you.
Right. You like it? That's right. Well, yeah, it's all the my fault. I'll pay. It's over here. Thank you so much. All right, okay. Be careful. All right. I be safe. See you tomorrow. You guys stay with me. All right, take care. Love you, man. All right.
Just sit down.
Door closed.
You go, please.
You leave it open, please. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. There you go.
No. I'll see, we'll see.
It's kind of low.
It's low, yeah.
Watch your knees on these brace deals and how many times I've.
Thank you.
It hurts. It's a great design.
It'll just.
Reach your phone, but.
Sorry, I was expecting a call.
Okay.
You want it open?
Don't go, let's get up.
I need to depends how loud it is. I know they're having practice in some years.
Yeah, try that.
Keep it open. Yes, we're fine.
Pull order.
Yeah, here we go. All right, let's all rise for the regular council meeting for the city of Ellsworth for August the 25th, 2025. Let's stand and say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, congratulations to Mr. Moon.
Thank you.
And you've got an agenda in front of you. We're gonna get right to work here. First item on the agenda is to approve the consent agenda. It includes the approval of the July 28th and the August 11th.
Cooper Jennifer.
Sorry, we're gonna have to approve the agenda first. So take a look at the agenda, see if you like
Mr.
it.
Mayor, I've asked for an addition to the agenda tonight, discuss the resignation of another council member and the filling of that position
Under new business.
for the new business, please.
It's the first item under new business or?
That'd be fine.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the agenda as corrected and
Amended.
amended.
I'll second that.
All right, President of the Council Coates has made a motion to approve the agenda with the amendment. And Councilor Renard has seconded that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. And now we've got the consent agenda, which includes the approval of the July 28th and the August 11th minutes. And water and sewer termination extension requests, which there are some.
There's one.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
all right, Councilor Renard has made a motion to approve the consent agenda. Jessica seconded that motion. Any debate, any concerns about the consent agenda? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. So you want to do the water and sewer termination request or? Or the public comments? Yeah. All right, here we go. Yeah, here.
All right.
Oh, second. Oh, okay. Sounds good.
All right, Teresa and Greg, you want to come on up?
You're the one who got the issues that go along.
That's the weed department at 501 West 13th, and we're having major problems with our water up there. There's never any chlorine in it, and you can't, I brought a bottle tonight, you can't see it real well, but most of the time it looks like Mountain Dew up there. And we don't drink it, so we're buying bottled water all the time. And I don't think it's fair to the county that we have to buy bottled water because we can't drink the water here that we pay for.
Weed department.
Yeah, I know, David has addressed this, we have a problem there, because we just have it basically a dead end line. And the cost of fix, I mean, would be the pipes of, loop more pipe around there, of course, it's not a cheap endeavor. I'm assuming there's less problem, you fill your tanks out of that thing. I'm assuming when you're using water, you probably don't get a problem, do you?
We used it this morning and that's when we got this water out. And they had a water leak right next door to us with the county and Dave came up that next day and we still didn't have no chlorine and he flushed it for, I don't know, probably 15 minutes and still no chlorine came up.
I mean, I think, you know, water department's trying to, at least been out there and trying to attempt it. I don't know what the solution is. If there is a good one there, just better than the fact that maybe do the cooperation with the county to run additional pipelines up there. But that could be a fairly expensive project too.
Have we tested it or is that something we gotta do or?
Yeah, Dave tests it all the
yeah.
time. He
Yeah.
runs up and tests it all the time. Yeah,
Just low.
there's no chlorine, there's none.
That's not.
Yeah, you will have problems. I mean, in every town, it'd be nice, every line would do. I mean, that's always the goal. I think. I would say the same thing. If you go loop water, it makes it where it comes from multiple directions, it was always moving. We even had a problem in Boise after a tornado 20 years ago, 24 years ago, when houses got rebuilt. Because until you got a number of people built, you weren't moving much water, now I asked the community to bring back again. It changed, the first house I built back, he had all kinds of problems, because he was sending it all on the west side by himself. And nobody else was storing water, and so they had lost a lot of water that had been, and said that no flying while he had loose reported residual. So I mean, I don't know what the solution is.
Yeah, I mean, basically, the only way we can really fix it is to make another line going from. What do I call it? To State Street. Right now. That's the way, that would be the perfect fix, hopefully. And then we don't know for sure if that will be. But what I do is I usually go up there and I open up the fire hydrant. And let it run for an hour, hour and a half. Which, lets the water, move. And then I go over there and run her water for maybe 15 minutes after I shut the fire hydrant on. Then run for about another 15 minutes and then I get a good residual. Now, when they do their weed, truck. Sometimes I can go up there and I can get a good residual because they're using a lot more water. But again, they'd have to use a lot of water in order to afford it ever. So we've been doing this for 3 months, about three and a half months now. I've been going up there periodically and checking it. I've been trying to check it at least once a month, and it's every time there's no chlorine.
So we've kept track of it on 6/8, there's no chlorine, 6/18, I'm sorry, 7/8, 7/18, and 7/29 and 8. There's no chlorine in it.
So, but it's cost.
It's getting worse than it was before, we could do, a couple months, but now it's a couple weeks tops.
I would suggest council, mayor and council, that you have David and staff follow for the next 2 months and bring a report back to the council at this time, and that way he has no more history of it and everything else.
Sound good?
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Would you guys be willing to buy us bottled
I would
water?
say they
since
don't
we
want-
have to buy bottled water?
Just a couple of,
Precedent.
I would.
cause they don't even wanna drink that water up there, but they see it so bad. There's 2, sometimes 3 of them up there is all up there, so folks, they don't run water, faucet water, but.
Does anybody see a need to buy bottled water? What are the problems is that you start a precedent? Anybody know?
I would worry Preston, because somebody else is gonna say, well, I really don't like the water here in town, I want to bottle water all the time, or I want the city to put an RO system in for me, or whatever the case may be.
You did it for them.
Yeah.
Okay, can I bring it up then, since, cause we've used a lot of water when we spray. So everything we use, we get a charge then for going through the sewer, which it's not going through the sewer. Will you mark that out since we gotta buy our bottled water?
Because
To help us.
same thing.
We would want to discuss that, I mean, I don't know what other customers we have that have. I would look at all water, I would look at our rates and everything else, and how we treat lawns and for commercial and stuff like that, let's,
Okay.
I'll look at, yeah. So,
Sound good?
Okay.
All right, so let's follow up. What do you want? 60 days?
yeah, for some,
1st of November? Okay. Sound good, David?
So,
Great.
I
1st of November, yeah. Late October, early November.
also probably start when I get back on
Hey.
Friday.
Yeah.
I'll be gone Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but I'll back on Friday.
Okay, get some good data and then we'll go from there. That'll give Mr. Moon a little bit more history too, so. Sound fair?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Bring
you.
it up, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so next person up is Colleen Simple. Come on up.
Hello, Pauline Sippel, Dave Robbins, Memorial Library. I'm just here, I believe when they were here last time, I couldn't be here. And part of our thing was we wanted to keep you guys more informed of what's going on at the library. And so this is just kind of this is what's going on. I do have papers that if I could hand for you guys to see. The first one is just what we did this summer. So it has all of our numbers through June and July of how many checkouts for adults, kids. Our Libby, which is our app for books, audiobooks and ebooks. We had performers, so this is just kind of a general. Here covers what all we did through the summer and our numbers. We did it, I did it for the board, and then we also have it where it's up for just the patrons to see, so they understand what happens in the library. So we thought we'd bring it to you. And then on the back, I have the events that we have going on through the winter or through the fall for the adults and for the kids, just for your guys' information. So can I just hand one to each of you?
Yeah.
And I have it. How many, one, two, three, one, I'm on the back. You want to? That's all I came for.
Thank you, Colin.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Yeah, that's it for public comments. Unfinished business, we do have the resignation added to our agenda of
New business.
new business. I'm sorry, where are we? In new business. We have no, I'm sorry, we have no unfinished business. We now move to the new business column. And the first item was what was added. Aaron Johnson has decided to resign. And if it's okay with you, Alan, can I read his letter?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, to the honorable members.
There's copies here, if anybody wants
Yeah.
to, on the record.
To the honorable members of the Ellsworth City Council, it has been a privilege to serve the people of Ellsworth as a member of the City Council. After careful thought, I am submitting my resignation from the council effective immediately. My decision comes when my family transitions into a new chapter of life. While my children and I are still balancing time between locations, it become clear that stepping aside this time is in the best interest of the council community. I want to ensure the council's working continues without unnecessary distractions. And I feel giving space in this way is the most responsible choice. I am deeply grateful for the trust the citizens placed in me and for the opportunity to work alongside each of you. Serving the community where I was raised has been an honor. I aim to continue serving our community for many more years to come. Through my insurance brokerage, thank you for your support, collaboration, and commitment to the city. Respectfully, Aaron Johnson. We want to thank him for his service. And just appreciate the thoughtfulness of the resignation, the timing of it. So with that said, we have to decide how do we go about, what are the options that we have?
I think there's a couple of options here. His term was to end on January 12th, 2026.
Yeah.
So basically 4 months. One, you can appoint somebody to a 4-month term. If that option, another option you may have, and one we could discuss if we want to, again, I'm just throwing out all the options here, is leaving the position vacant, because normally you're getting this time of the year, especially with elections and everything else, that other than having to be in forum all the time, and again, that's an option. I know some cities that have done it this late in the game. It was different in the position Mr. Booth fell in, because that term still had 2 years and 5 months left, or 4 months left. So we're a little different. It was just a 4-month term. They're all legal options. You could, again, how you want to pick them. You had the applications last time. You can do it again. You may want to, if you say, hey, let's put it out there again, see if anybody else wants to, because somebody else may say, hey, I'll do a 4-month term. I'll serve my committee 4 months. That's all I want to do. I'll put it out there. That way it doesn't confuse elections or anything else. I think those are all options. This last method worked well. They may want to apply again, but there may be somebody else that's, hey, I'll serve 4 months and, I'll serve this community for 4 months and then I'll step down. I'm happy to,
Yeah,
thanks for the opportunity.
that's not a bad idea because I wasn't thinking about it when I came in.
No way, that's because we just found out today.
Right, but you're right, a 4-month term, you almost have to put it back out there again because it's a different term. The people that were interested in the 2.5 years may not be the same people interested in.
Well, and just look down the road with elections and everything else, just all things that can transpire. And I never want to get in a position where from here we dictate elections or anything like that.
Yeah,
That's a pet peeve. And we should not dictate elections or anything else, so that's always another option out there, Again, is what leave it open. I think that's a possibility. I don't, it's your governing body, not mine.
yeah. I like the idea of filling it. Go ahead, Mr. Milton.
I'd just like to, and again, I don't know the appropriate protocol here. But I like that idea that someone can come in for a 4 month, term and gain a clear understanding or an idea of what this is all about. And maybe they'll run again
Right,
later.
that's right. I like it. I'm with you on that one. Tyler, what do you think? Either way,
Either way.
okay, Jessica?
Either way.
All right, why don't we put it out there? The next meeting's the 8th of September.
Right.
So who makes the appointment? The mayor makes it on the 8th, then the council makes it on the 9th, Patrick?
I think that's right.
Is that right, Kevin?
I have to count my days.
Yeah, I haven't counted the days on it, so.
Hey, let me count my days.
Either way, it doesn't matter. Still do it.
When did that charter ordinance get passed? The June or July. Let's say it was June. Yeah, 23rd. So it was published the 10th.
Of July,
July was the second publication, so that'd be 19 and 31 makes
40,
50.
31, 50, right?
The 11th, on about the 11th, probably.
All right. Why don't we do that? Why don't we just do the same process that I worked great last time? Let people come up, give them 3 minutes. And I think you made a good point. The people that were interested in 2.5 years may not be interested in 4 months. So it may not happen, but does that sound good, everybody?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you guys know what to do. Same thing as before. Then September 8th, we'll let them speak and then we'll appoint. Can we swear them in that night?
I would rather not.
Okay, all right,
It just works better.
okay.
I mean,
Understand.
because it gives us some time now to get agendas to them. I've seen councilmen step in that night and they take right over, they step right
Right,
away
it's too much.
and they're worthless the first time. I mean, it is, because they didn't see the packet, they didn't know they're gonna name, and it's never a good situation.
Yeah.
You know?
You feel a little bit like that right now?
Yeah, but you had
You had some phone calls.
You had a chance to come in and talk to me. I mean, those are important things. Important. You know, just, Mr. Moon had a chance to come in and talk to me, and he talked to different staff, different people, so
You're right.
it wasn't just like, here, buddy,
Very good. Okay, there's nothing more to be done or said. Let's move on to ordinance 3174, the adoption of the 2025 standard traffic ordinance for Kansas Cities.
Mr. Mayor and council members, I was gonna do this, Louise was, but she doesn't. So, each year the city adopts, each year the Kansas League municipalities updates the standard traffic ordinance. And then we'll have the uniform public defense code shortly. This basically adopts the ordinance or the new traffic code, and puts it in place. Officers carry that in their cars because it's used in court and everything else. You're not required to. Some cities don't do it every year. It's probably a good idea to do it every year. That way, all the new current laws are accurate. And there's a nice benefit for the most part is that way laws inside the city, outside the city for traffic and everything else are similar.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, I move to approve ordinance.
Sorry.
Sorry,
That's okay.
I think that's the last call.
Okay,
Okay, no problem, we just need to. I think you can core things here.
I understand.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve ordinance 3174.
Second.
all right. Councilor Bernard has made a motion to approve ordinance 3174. President of Council Coates has seconded that motion. Any debate or any concerns? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item, ordinance 3175. Adoption of the 2025 Uniform Public Offense Code.
Basically the same thing. Our public offense code, however, we do have an amendment in ours, if you can read it in the ordinance. We have some clarification in there about allowing, I believe it's the grocery store. This order's called there, how it has the event up there, this allows actually to be permitted. And it's an amendment to the code, which you're allowed to do.
Put that in there, what, last year or something?
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Mayor, I move to approve ordinance 3175.
Second.
No, Tyler's made a motion to approve ordinance 3175. Jessica seconded that. Any debate, any discussions? concerns? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Ordinance number 3176, correcting times with cereal malt beverages. When cereal malt beverages may be sold.
Do you want to comment, Patrick?
Yeah, that's now. Yeah, back in December, we passed an ordinance with, and updated our, we were dealing with some businesses that were, some question about whether some businesses can sell CMB because of where they're located, and we were trying to clarify that. We did an arguably good job of clarifying that, but we made a mistake. We clarified it, it made some confusion because we didn't have the right date, times and dates for our Sunday sales. So this is a housekeeping ordinance to correct something we did last December. Short answer.
And we've always felt that the charter orders that allow Sunday sales still took precedence.
Yeah, we do. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, I mean, there was a charter ordinance that we did back when the state changed the rules on CMB a few years ago. But it would still get housekeeping to correct, to update this so that everything's consistent. So it doesn't change anything, it just makes sure all of our ordinances are lined up with each other.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt ordinance 3176 to correct the times and with cereal malt beverages may be sold.
Second.
All right, Tyler has made a motion to approve ordinance 3176, correcting the times in which when cereal malt beverages may be sold. President of Council Coates has seconded that motion. Any debate or concern? All right, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion carries. Next one, designating city connecting link in state highway system.
Mr. Mayor, council members, have you heard us say before, there's state highways that run through our city. And there's certain times, like along the outside of town, Highway 156 is a connecting link. But it's treated differently than other connecting links, like Douglas, for example, is K14. And we receive funding from the state of Kansas at $5,000 per lane mile. Remember, there's 2 lane miles for every mile of street. And this is a minor change. KDOT reached out there to make these changes. I think this was last agreed to in '96. There's been some small changes of how they want to do it. Back in '96, it was 2,000 per lane mile, and they've increased per lane mile. Haven't changed the agreement. There's updating everything now. I think we actually gain about this much more of a lane mile, not much. Receive a little over $11,000 a year. The nice part about having connecting links is you can argue that KDOT, if we were to ban this connecting link, I'm sure KDOT would say, yes, you can. I wouldn't do that because number one, you can go ahead and get $11,000 a year. And number two, more importantly, you remember, was it 2 years ago when you redid Douglas? You paid for it all yourself. This way they paid for 95% of it. That's why connecting links are a good thing. Our project up at Coatesville and 156, that's going to be bid next year. In January, I believe it is. That's 5% of the city, 95% of KDOT. That wins every day of the week. So I would recommend that you approve the new agreement with KDOT. Updating the connecting links.
Mr. Mayor, do I make this motion?
You can.
Go ahead.
I make the motion that we approve.
I'll let you.
Okay.
It's right there.
I move to approve the resolution designating the city connecting links in the state highway system within the city of Belcourt with the Kansas Department of Transportation.
I will second that.
All right, Councilor Moon has made the motion to approve designating the city connecting link in the state highway system. Councilor Renard has seconded that motion. Any concerns with that? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, then this one's a little bit more involved, isn't it?
Good.
The TIF, tax increment financing, distribution repayment. Go ahead.
Mayor and Council, as you know, since 2011, the city has had a tax increment financing area. A lot of it is that area by First Kansas Bank, that area up in there. The TIF district. Whereas the property taxes there that the city, that all taxing, the city, county, school, extension district in our case, and even the township a little bit. Part of the property taxes that would have been to those entities gets paid to the city to go to the TIF fund, okay? Every year, that's about $195,000 to $200,000 give or take. This year, when we got the check, it was for $400,000. Which means that in the 199 days, 199 area, the city loses, because people pay the taxes. And then we have to subtract it from the money that we were gonna put into our tax funds, our general fund, our library fund. It gets sucked back out. So you lose that. Well, with 400,000, that amount more than doubled. So it's like, we're gonna have $170,000 left. Angela had budgeted for it. It was like, what's wrong? Reached out to the county, and there was an error made in the county treasurer's office. So there was a payment made in January. And then there's a subsequent payment made in May. As you know, we don't pay our property taxes. We can pay them in December, so it's January, and then you pay again in May, so the second distribution. Well, what happened was, instead of paying, I believe it was 170, she did 170, but then she added 230 to it. Where she was always supposed to add the difference of $60,000, give or take. So to correct this here, she is asking that the city writes a check back to the county for our TIF funds of $176,161.88. And then they in turn will redistribute it. I did put in the packet how the money is going to be distributed to the different taxing entities. Right here, that the city is going to receive, this going to be both the library and the general fund. Well, the county will get 59,000 as money, 59,395. Extension district 1,700, city 82,496.04. The township $60. The school district has 3 different funds for about a total of about $34,000. So we'll write a check for 176 back. We're gonna get a check for 82 back. Then we're not losing money because it was their entity's money. So it's just gonna correct the mistake. Our TIF it shoot up from 999,230 total. We feel a lot of stuff because he made major jumps here in mill levy from the 23 budget to the 24 budget, 25 budget. And so that kicked it up some. So, and that's the cause of that. It's just gonna correct things here. I think we've got it all figured out now. But when I first looked at it, it just didn't make sense. And so we found the reason, they've re-looked at everything and, we'll continue with the TIF, but this is the way to get it straightened out. We have to be a little careful because Angela had money, but she didn't know she was gonna spend this money. So she's gonna have to work these things transition through, so it may not happen tomorrow, but it'll happen as soon as she possibly can without having any interest problems and stuff like that.
Yeah. It sounds good, like you made a decision and,
Well, we didn't make a decision.
yeah, that's what we had to do.
This is what we do to clean it up. I mean,
Right.
just, it's not our money per se, it's money, it'll be distributed back.
Yeah.
Because the 176 we got in January, we also got that and more in May. We were only supposed to get difference between 230 and 176, so.
Right. Well, sounds good.
And then we all that other tax days again too, because I don't know when anybody else did their budgets, us doing ours, it was like how they handled that bigger drop of TIF funds. I imagine your smaller budget, it was more normal, so.
Okay, very good. Any questions for him on the TIF financing? So it was a lot, yeah.
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 Okay, Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the payment in the amount of $176,161.88 to Ellsworth County, refunding an overpayment of TIF funds that have been made to the city.
I'll second.
All right, Councilor Renard has made a recommendation. Let's see it here, to basically repay the TIF funds to the county. President of the Council, Jessica Coates, has seconded that
Should
motion
be the overpayment, yeah.
for the overpayment. Any concerns with that? Looks good to everybody? Mr. Moon?
That's good to me, so.
Okay. All right, hearing no problems, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Nay, motion carries. All right. So we move on to the report of the assessment and recommendations for the Ellsworth Water Wells improvements.
Mayor, what we're gonna have tonight is, Mr. Foster's here, but he's gonna do the wells and a little bit about the lagoon project. And then we'll finish the meeting, and then at the end of the meeting, we'll have the executive session on discussion of potential acquisition of real property. So that way everybody can hear the reports. If they want to stick around, they can, but you know, I know they'll stand here. So there'll be a small break in between for you, we have an executive session, so.
So Brian's gonna go now.
Yep, he's doing the water now, and then the wastewater. And then we're gonna talk about a little landfill issue here, and then we're gonna have reports and we'll have this executive session.
Okay.
That's what it says.
All right, Brian Foster with BG Consultants. Back in 2022, we did a couple different studies for y'all, one for the sewer, one for the water. The water one was just focused on the distribution system. It specifically excluded the water treatment plant and your water wells, your supply. You guys started having a few issues with your supply. Alan asked me to take a look at the supply, and so I put together kind of an overview evaluation, more of a condition assessment of the supply. I can go pretty quick and then open it up for questions if you guys have read it, or I can go a little slower and go through it all if you want me to. I'll start with a quick overview and then break down from there if you have questions. You guys have 7 wells. Currently 2 of those are the well casings have failed. So there's holes in the casings. You're not able to use those wells. Well, actually, one of them you tried to, the staff tried to re-sleeve, but it's only pumping like 30 gallons a minute or something like that. So it's essentially inoperable. Both of those wells, to get those back up and running, need to be re-drilled. So you move over, re-drill a new well. There's a lot that goes into that, as simple as it sounds, but you have to put design plans together. You have to get, one of the wells will have to get some easement documentation revised with the landowner. KDHE has some new requirements from when those wells were originally drilled, as far as how far away you have to have controlled access to. That's probably the priority that drove this evaluation, is those 2 wells being fed. Some of the other issues that we talked about, you have 2 wells up by the water plant. Those are hand dug wells, so they're 20-foot in diameter hand dug wells. Those 2 are currently not able to work together. You can't turn them on at the same time. What we found that one of the wells is actually, the pump is oversized compared to the other wells. So when both wells kick on, when they're pumping into the same line, one well overpowers the other well, and it actually pushes water back into the well instead of pushing it into the plant. So that needs to be redone. The pump needs to be redone. The line, it's just across the road, the line going into the plant. It goes through an old air stripper building, and that old air stripper building has 4-inch pipe, and trying to push 400 gallons a minute through a 4-inch pipe gets to some pretty high velocities. In our recommendation, we would bypass that old air stripper building and put in a larger 6-inch line and go into the front of the plant to give less resistance going through there. Some of the other things to note, 2 of the wells, so your 2 hand dug wells up at the plant, and then all your other wells are out west of town. They're all kind of along the railroad track west of town, about a mile or so west of town. They kind of lay, or 2 of them, well, they're all kind of in a low-lying area. The 2 of them are actually in the floodplain out there. And those 2 wells, I think, were built first originally. They kind of have a unique well house. You actually walk down into like a basement, and so there's like a basement area, and the electrical gear for both of those wells are down inside that basement. So you have electrical gear in a basement and a floodplain. So those have some concerns with being flooded and having larger expenses if that ever floods. One of those wells is one that needs to be re-drilled. If you guys choose to re-drill that one, I would recommend that you just demo that building, and you can, nowadays you have to have buildings for your wells. You can just make a pitless unit well, have an electrical gear on a panel, maybe even elevate it up on a, like a little staircase and a little rack. So you get it up out of the floodplain, so you don't have to worry about your electrical getting flooded. That would be our recommendation to handle that issue.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to use the OSHA with our wastewater because where our wastewater was being dumped across the river, or the river, it was in the floodplain too. We actually had FEMA dollars to raise, we put the electric out, just exactly what Brian said, it was for wastewater and potable water, but still, it got above there, there's no way a flood can happen. And worst case scenario, we could actually vote out there if we have to do something. Put your boxes up here and the wells down here, you know.
So those are your major issues that we saw that I would say are priority. There's a handful of other things, so all those 5 well buildings out there, they're all old, some of them need roof replaced, some of them need doors, all of them need doors and windows upgraded if you're gonna keep them. You could get rid of all those buildings too, and convert to a pitless well. Some of those buildings, it might make sense to do that. Some of them, it may not make sense until you have to re-drill that well. And that's all kind of explained in the report. Again, I can go through all of that. That's kind of the big 10,000.
Man,
Yes, yes, that's right.
sir, I was just scanning through the water level evaluation summary. Is there a way, and trust me, I'm not a water expert, kind of operations, I don't know that. My question is though, I looked at, the cost, the total cost. Quite a bit,
Yes.
and so my question is there any way? There's a recommendation or something you have that it could be done sequential?
Yes.
As opposed to all or nothing, by phases, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3.
Absolutely, great point. The cost, the opinion of cost, and that's what it is, it's my opinion of the cost. I'll be honest, I try to inflate those a little bit because it might be a year or two before you do them, so for budgeting reasons and all those type of things. So that's not a hard bid. And I split them out per well. And so you can kind of pick and choose if you only want to do certain things. And so all of these basically could be done as a separate project, or you could combine 2 of them together. I would, if you're gonna re-drill the 2 wells, I would re-drill both of those together. It makes a whole bunch of sense, and you'll get better bids having 2 wells instead of drilling 1 well, and then a year later drilling another. But as far as some of these other things, you can kind of pick and choose what to do. I will point out some of that cost, the big ticket item that we put in here for you guys to consider is currently you have no backup power at either your water plant or any of the wells. And that was a recommendation that we had. Could be a lower priority for you guys, and maybe David has some opinions about that. But right now, if you have a power outage, primary, you have to have power at your plant, otherwise you're not pushing water. Then you have to have generators at your wells. You may not need generators at all your wells. We were just suggesting 2 well path water treatment.
Now, don't feel bad about that because 10 years ago, the city of Junction City did not have power generation. The city of Manhattan did not have power at their water generation either in their plants.
So there's several of them.
Exactly. So KSG doesn't require it. It doesn't happen. It's a good idea. And that was my first time I got to was we didn't have it. You know, so in small towns we had it. And so we actually put generation in. Manhattan followed about a year or 2 after we were there. So again, don't feel like anybody did a bad job. Nobody did a bad job. It's just how do you make yourself better? And give the public a more reliable source of water. That's what it boils down to.
So Mr. Dinker, when I was saying the sequential, the phases, what ideas do you have? What needs to be done first?
Wells.
I mean, what would be the priority?
They would kill them, but I didn't say wells. And,
Replacing the two wells is a high priority.
is there any funding available, like grant funding that's possibly available through any programs from KDHE? We could apply for a loan through.
Yeah, you can apply for, so we got a loan with KDHE for the wastewater project. You could apply for that again. You have to get on the intended use plan, which typically happens in the spring. And then, they typically award those in the summer, and then you have to go through a whole application process. So I'm saying at best, it's a year from now before you, would have those funds available.
Do we have that luxury?
I'll ask, David, you deal with it more than I do. I would suggest that you ask him, how often he has to rely on those wells that he doesn't have.
Right now, if we have one of the wells go down, we're gonna be in there almost 24 hours. Running water, 24 hours. I mean, we don't have to man it every 24 hours, but we have to monitor. Till you have apps to be able to look at it and pay attention. But it's best that somebody be there, go back up there every couple hours to make sure that the chlorine run right, all the stuff is running right. But if we have one more go down, we're about to that point. Number two is barely running 20 gallon a minute. And I'm having to acidize, if they were going to come today, but it rained. And we're hoping that it'll push it back up to about 80 to 90, maybe 100 gallon a minute. Which would be really nice.
There is other funding options as far as loans. We can do a general obligation bond.
This,
And you can use general obligation bonds for water. I mean, normally you talk water, it's a revenue bond, but general obligation bonds are cheaper interest rates than revenue bonds. Because the repayment ability of a GO bond is ultimately a taxing thing, so, any person that's selling you the bonds, is giving you the money, is going like, okay, if revenue doesn't happen. City will tax and we'll get our money back, if you want to, and you raise rates. We have one of our GO bonds right now that we transfer water from the money from the water department to pay the GO bond, so it's been done here before, so it's a possibility. And that's something we want to take a look at, it's a GO bond. The interest rates, the KDC bonds might be a little cheaper. Interest rates tend to be,
they're about 60% a month.
yeah, they're a few points cheaper, but. Again, I think you have to take a look at what's right for the city at this time. We didn't increase the water rates this spring, so revenue's coming in. We still hadn't figured out how to over the land yet. I mean, we had our ideas, but until the check hits the banks, and you start to see the accounts grow. It's gonna be a little while there, but we at least started that process last spring, so, for water and sewer, so. You've done a lot of right things, we just gotta make sure the projects gotta fit in there. And we talked about these projects last winter before you even raised the rates. And, the lines that are coming, probably another project shortly after, the lines that come from the wells to the water plant, as I fondly say, I don't think there's anybody in town holding those lines. And, they've been there forever and that's what, they don't get any newer every day. So I think those things we're looking at, but I really believe you started the process last spring by making those rate adjustments and started to take a strategic look at them. And that's where we are. Last winter when Davis, I need wells, I'm going like, I can't afford them. Now we can talk about it and at least get a process started. So maybe I'll take those and funding and bring that to you. It's a possibility, because I do think these are critical. Anything's concerned with those buildings, and again, I'm talking, we're in a post 9/11 world now. Any concerns you have about security of our wells?
It's not the best.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
They're cinder block buildings, with no fencing around them, lock on the door, glass windows from being involved.
And we could probably get away with just having one window instead of having two windows in one of those.
But again, I think there's a things you need to think about as you transition into the future now. Thinking, you don't think about it, you wouldn't think that something that would happen, but that is a wrong point. There's a heavy fines, everything it's called messing with too, but the point is you can't leave no door either, you know?
And we do have a couple wells that the ceiling inside is starting to break apart.
We gotta do some fixing, I mean, just because the key is having these oceans.
So is it fair for me to, Dave, you sound like you would be the person I would turn to if I were to ask part of this plan, what should be done first? I mean, I heard you say,
Well,
we lose another well. I mean, you didn't finish saying it, but it sounds like if we lose a well, it's going to be,
well, it won't be, I mean, it won't be dire, but it will make us have to work a little harder.
Well,
Um,
and
and-
you take out contingencies out, that's what you start doing, anytime you limit the number of straws he has.
Right.
And if one straw gets clogged, there's, so does your example there, if one straw gets clogged. What does what does the staff have to do, what do we have to do to make sure, again, that we supply water to the residents of the city?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if I was gonna, and maybe Brian would disagree with me here, I think if I was gonna, it's wells, it's power source. At the wells and at the plant are my two big ones, and then the rest of them would probably fall behind, in my opinion.
In my opinion, I would re-drill the two wells and fix the issue that you have with your hand up wells. So that they
Yeah.
both operate at the same time. Those are the, if you could,
Okay,
marry that into a package. Then your, kind of your other concerns are power generation, and then you have the well that we wouldn't touch that has. One of the wells we wouldn't touch would still have electrical in the basement, which is fine until you have a flood.
Yeah.
Sound worse and worse, isn't it?
And the thing is, number eight well, he's talking about number 8 well, that we wouldn't have to really be concerned about a lot of, because it never has flooded. Number 2 well is across the creek. It was flooded back in the 90s, and the water was almost up to the ceiling in that well. And so that's one of the major ones. And then also, we're underneath the influence of surface water, which means our wells are too close to that creek. So we have, when we do number 2, we're gonna move that further away, so we don't have to worry about that flooding or the under the.
the surface water and groundwater are treated separately. What it means by under influence means that. Wells out of the ground, you have all the filtration of the soil and everything else. When you have the influence of say surface water, in the case of a river. Direct surface where it's not going to filter through, basically. You have to treat it differently, and EPA is getting real hot in that, man.
And that's why we had to modernize
Yeah.
our plant back in 2003, is because it was, we were under that influence where that water could get in there that well. So that's why we modernized our plant, so that we could treat it what we needed to be treated.
If you want, it's always, but we can start dealing with some funding options, and we start.
Yeah.
Get the ball rolling in that option, take a look at it. Because I think. We need to get a plan, and I think that makes sense because, this is something you can't push down the road too much further, what have to use for the community.
But we would definitely get, if we could get number 6 and 4 to where we could at least use those together. That would give us almost 350 to 400 gallon a minute. Right there. So that would help us even more. Because then if one of the wells would go down, we would have a backup to where we could actually use that as well.
And that's one of the easier things to do, as far as. Replacing a well, there's a lot of permitting and stuff like that involved, replacing a pump and fixing a check valve and doing a little bit of line work out front.
Can we fund that project?
I had that one at 78,000.
I mean, maybe we ought to just get on that, get that done.
If I could find that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then,
The increase would be the girl.
and then the other two, if you guys could do that, the other two wells that need replaced, I would say 600 to 700,000. By the time you go through permitting, easement swaps, all that other stuff that you have to do. Somewhere around there is what I will trouble about. Total, for those two together.
I know we have at least 3 people that I can contact, but one said that they're just too far out, that they probably wouldn't even bid on it because they're under the state. And the other ones,
Oh, the 2 wells.
yeah, yeah,
And you do have to go through KDG permit.
yeah. I started that, but
Let's relook at funding and I'll have Brian look at that more and report against me. The 70 was like fine.
Yeah, if that would help us out, you know, that much more for something quick.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Well, it's be done anyhow, just
Yeah.
moving priority.
okay, thank you.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, one's for their phone service. Okay, so we're done.
The Lagoon project now, correct?
And then we'll have their executive session at the end of the meeting.
So, Lagoon project, so we went through and we did an environmental on the land around the lagoon area. We did geology around the lagoon area where we needed to expand our lagoons. While the crops were off, we went out and we did a topo survey of it. So that's kind of where we're at with that project now. We're kind of on hold from our design standpoint goes, because we're waiting to get the KDHE loan all finalized so that you guys have funds to keep the project forward. And we're expecting that to occur mid to late September, so hopefully by October 1st, maybe having this loan agreement. That's when we'll kick off and really go on the high gear with our design. So we've just been doing bits and pieces. I think our agreement was to keep our total billings under 50,000, and we're built 40,000 so far. So that one's kind of waiting on funding.
Well, and also just to clarify that discussion this spring, last fall, when you signed the contract with BG, we had to encumber the funds. And by doing so, and when we had our audit this spring, we were talking about that, we had to pull it out of that, so that money's not usable right now. When we get the grant, because part of the grant, but also part of the cost that was figured in was including design engineering. And so we go back now and release that $600,000, give or take, whatever it was, back to the reserve funds. So now we get a little more flexibility out there too. At some point in time, we may want to pay more off, but we gotta keep rolling first.
That's all I have, I guess, on that.
So later.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, thank you.
Brian. Thanks.
All right. So need authorization to apply for grant.
Good. Mayor and council members, carrying the music ball tonight, but, you know, downstairs, been talking about our landscaping downtown, the fires, pots and everything else, and they would like to apply for a grant through the Smoky Hill Charitable Foundation this fall to purchase new planters for the downtown area. You know, there'd be no city money or than kind labor. And against my process, we do not apply for a grant until the council knows we're applying. And also, if there's and the reason I do that is if there's any matching funds available or a need for them, that way we know ahead of time. So basically, she's asking permission to apply for the grant and allow her authority to do so. Pretty simple. Yes.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, I recommend the city for police planning be given approval to apply for the grant.
I'll second.
Councilor Bernard has made a motion to recommend a city police planning to be given approval to apply for the grant. Councilor Coates has seconded that motion. Any opposition to the grant? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Louise can go ahead and apply for the grant. Looks like we go on to our reports now, correct?
Yes.
City Attorney, do you have any comments?
No, thank you.
Very good. City Clerk? None, okay? City Administrator?
Always do, of course. We're taking applications for the police chief. I don't know how many applications we got, but they're coming in a little bit, so we have that set for review after September 15th. I think I looked at that, so we'll talk about that in future meetings and how we're gonna handle that thereon, because that'll be hired by the council. That's one of the three positions that the council hires: police chief, city administrator, and the city clerk. Also, working through the budget, I got held up and I'm gonna have to beg for a little forgiveness. I would like to have a special meeting the 15th or the 16th to do the budget hearing. I got held up last Friday. We haven't issued, I'm trying to work out with Kevin Cowan of Gilmore and Bell, our CID district. In the improvement district, I mentioned in the letter last Friday. That bond's being paid off, so we may have some effect having it all paid off, and I'm trying to get that balance when we do the budget, so. Would you be willing to have a special city council meeting on either 15th, Monday the 15th, or Tuesday the 16th at 5:30 or 6? 15th?
Yeah.
Fine.
Fine.
Sounds good. I will schedule for such time. That's all I have for now, believe it or not.
Very good, okay. City Council, Tyler, do you have anything?
Just did we look or figure anything out on the old city dump?
We haven't yet done a choice, but so, all right.
That's all I have.
Yeah.
Okay. Jessica, do you have anything?
Nothing.
Counselor Moon, do you have anything?
Not at this time.
All right, very good. So that leaves it up to me. And I think what we'll do is we'll head into executive session. Sound good?
I got a motion here somewhere.
Mr. Mayor, I move to go into executive session for preliminary discussion of the acquisition of real property relating to the sewer improvements project pursuant to KSA 75-4319B6, and to include the mayor, city council, city attorney, interim city administrator, and Brian Foster of BG Consultants for 15 minutes, beginning at 6:30 and ending at 6:45.
I'll second that.
All right. President Council Coates has made a motion to go into executive session for the preliminary discussion. Basically for 15 minutes to include the city administrator, city attorney, city council, mayor, and Brian Foster, BG Consultants, for 15 minutes beginning at 6:30 and ending at 6:45. All right. Is everybody ready? All right, let's go ahead and vote on that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
For no decision. Mr. Mayor, I move the city council return from executive session where no decisions were made and no action was taken.
I'll second that.
All right, President Council Coates has made a motion that, returning from executive session, she suggests the following motion to move the city council to return where there are no decisions made or no action was taken. Councilor Nard has seconded that motion. Hearing any problems with that? All right, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, opposed? No one opposes, so make a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adjourn the meeting at 48 p.m.
I'll second that.
Thank
All right, Councilor Coates has made a motion to adjourn the meeting, and Tyler has seconded that motion. Any problems with that, anybody? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Good job.